my god, guys, are we actually doing this? Just need a sip of tea because I'm nervous. This is so strange. With life being stressful and being a mum and in a post-COVID world and in this post-truth era in politics with all of the horrendous things happening in the world, like, my god, do we need orcs who want to open up coffee shops? Do you know what I mean? This feels so strange, not gonna lie. Hi, I'm Bryony, I write books. Welcome to my new little corner of the internet. Can I say welcome to my channel? Does it count? So, it is the 31st of October. Nano kicks off next month. It's National Novel Writing Month, and it's write 50,000 words of your novel in a month. Now, I've attempted this many times. I am a writer. I'm trying to say that more now. I've written ever since I could hold a pen, but as many people do, they kind of like stop writing, and I went on to study English literature at university, and that happened to me. I think I kind of felt like I could never write anything that would be good enough, and then, you know, life, corporate, blah, blah, blah. We can get into that in later videos, but I am back and I want to do National Novel Writing Month this year. Now, I know there has been a whole like nano scandal, and I believe it's a different company. I haven't followed it too much, so I'm a mum of two firecracker girls who are 5 and 2, and they keep me pretty busy. And so I caught like a glimpse of this on Alyssa and the Books YouTube channel, so maybe go check out her video. I'll try and like link it in the description box, but there was this whole thing. I think Nano closed down. It's now started again, is my understanding. I'm not officially like going through the company or going through the website, but I'm going to attempt, she says, to complete what is in the spirit of Nano, which is like the 50,000 words in a month. Now, disclaimer, I believe the idea is that you start a fresh project, right? So from 0 words and you get the 50,000 in a month. I want to use my current work in progress, and I can't tell you right now how many words that's at because I've forgotten. I haven't touched it for quite a while, but I want to add 50,000 words to that. So my whip is actually a speculative archaeological thriller, we're going to call it. But my kind of aspirations for novels in the future as well are more like in the fantasy and dark academia arena. But I need to complete a project and prove to myself that I can. And I think this is a good one to cut my teeth on because I have the idea of the plot from start to finish pretty much. I'm somewhere in the messy middle at the moment and haven't got enough detail to get myself there. But digress, the idea of me being here, starting this channel, stepping out of my comfort zone because I'm not a camera person. I'm quite introverted. I need accountability. I need something to get me over that line. Now, you would think I would have done it already. This year, I completed my first marathon. I ran the London Marathon, raising money for blind children for a charity called Victor UK. And it turned out I was pregnant when I ran it and hadn't realised. I tested negative before. I'd sort of checked to make sure things were safe, and I didn't think I was pregnant. I ran it, turned out I was, and then very sadly, not too long afterwards, lost the baby. And so I ended up kind of really just stopping the writing side of things there. I'd planned to really like progress during that pregnancy, and the whole miscarriage threw me. I then ran an ultramarathon in the southwest, 50,000 feet, 50,000, what am I saying? 50,000 would be something, 5,000 feet elevation. It was hilly AF and quite technical, rocky terrain. I did my first ultra 50 kilometers dedicated to that baby that I lost, and it was a really healing experience. I'll try and splice some footage in so you can see like the beautiful scenery. The southwest coast of the UK is gorgeous. How gorgeous is this? On the sea.
Okay, guys. Oh, coming back to you. where I had my first heartbreak.
For a minute I thought I was slowing you down, but then I think it was the other way around, wasn't it? Pulling you to the finish line. You've got it under your own steam out. There's your finish. Another finisher just behind you as well. Sprinting it in. 50k, 25k. Get scanned, get finished. Get a medal for your efforts. Well done.
Don't you worry now.
And I still didn't quite get my writing mojo back. I subsequently have really sadly had another miscarriage, and on Sunday, just gone, I felt like I needed to do a similar thing and dedicate something. So I ran 30 miles worth of laps. That's just shy of 50k, I think. I didn't do the conversion properly. So my first ultra was 50 kilometers, about 31 point something miles I ran. This one was, I did laps for 30 miles, and it was kind of something that my protagonist in my novel would do. So it was an interesting insight into her and how she would like process just anything she's struggling to deal with. She probably wouldn't be processing miscarriage because she wouldn't want a family. But anyway, yeah, that's a sneak peek into the protagonist and like her mindset, I suppose. But now those are done, I feel like I know I can do hard things. The first ultra wasn't too tricky. I sound like an absolute saying that. But it's easier than you'd think. It was like a big, beautiful coastal scenery loop, and you just keep going and putting one foot in front of the other. The second one, because it was laps, it was grueling. It felt really mentally punishing. I loved the first 50 miles and hated the second half, basically. But I did it and I crossed the line. And so I'm trying to tell myself, if it is possible to make your body do something like that you know, not really supposed to like run that far, I don't think, like it's, you know, it's a big push, then I can put words on a page. Now, it's the 31st of October, Halloween, and that means Nano kicks off tomorrow. I am not prepped. My head is not in my novel. I'm going at this blind, really. I need to kind of reread a little bit of where I got to, and I'm going to pants it. So let's talk about plotting and pantsing for a second. Because I was a pantser my whole life. I've written since I could hold a pen. I loved stories, fantasy. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about this in other videos, but I was a pantser. And now with 2 kids and everything going on, I can't pants because the snatches of time that I get where I'm able to write, it's too... I need to kind of know what's going to happen and like have something to tick off and be like, write this bit, write this section, if that makes sense. So I actually kind of get that kind of blank page syndrome if I don't have a plot. Now, the plot that I have is very like kind of macro level. So I'm still somewhere on the pantsing spectrum, and I'm struggling to try and like fill those gaps. But yeah, I have an overarching plot, and this month I'm hoping to kind of iron out how we progress to kind of the next key bits. I'm quite character motivated. I'm really interested in interiority and inner life and motivations and trauma and, you know, like all of these kinds of the reasons people are who they are. And so sometimes I struggle a little bit with like, you know, moving things along. I need to write, I can't remember the stat, you guys can correct me, isn't it like 1,600 and something a day to hit that 50,000 in a month if you write every day? Or, you know, you need to kind of exceed that some days and then you can do less others. So that is the plan. Now, I kind of think, I know you could say, why the hell would you make videos and do Authortube if you could be using that time for writing? I need accountability. External accountability helps me so much. I also don't have any writer friends in real life, and I think being part of a community will really help. I have loved Authortube. I stumbled accidentally across Christiane Jones's videos, and they're so like lovely and cozy, and she just seems like such a lovely soul. I cannot wait for her novel to come out, Theodora's Tea Shop. I have pre-ordered it. And then through her, I think my algorithm started feeding me other little bits of Authortube, and I found Lynn D. Jung. I hope I said that right. And I think she's great. I'm so excited for her novel, Moth's Blood, I think it is, isn't it? And I found Brielle Wrights. And those are my like 3 that I love to watch, like everything they put out. And then there are other channels which I also love to dip into as well. You know, like Sarah Lebrat and who else? Alyssa in the Books, Cody the writer, like whether it's trad pub, self pub, all of those things. I just love it, and it's kind of slowly given me the confidence to be like, hey, let's properly get back into writing again. I need to finish a novel. If I can, you know, do crazy amounts of running, I can put words on paper, well, on a laptop screen anyway. So let's fucking do this. I'm just gonna swap out my Earl Grey tea for some coffee. I need the caffeine. Now I am obviously, I'm saying prepping for NaNoWriMo. I'm prepping by like amping myself up, and I need to go back, reread where I got to in my manuscript and figure out how many words I've got and what needs to happen over the course of this month to get me to add 50,000 words. I don't know if that will cross the line of finishing the actual novel and like finishing my manuscript, but that's okay. I just want to use it to make progress. And I think, you know, with 2 young children, I'm up early every day, but I'm doing a lot with them, for them. They are intense. They like a lot of input and a lot of attention. It's not like I can be sat tapping away and they'll be playing together. World War III would definitely ensue if I tried that. So it's about really, I think, scheduling writing, and I think that's the best way for me is, you know, I can't wait for inspo to strike. I just have to put time in. Now, unfortunately, I think I do my best work, like many people, if I have like a few hours or like a nice long chunk to really get in the flow. But again, that doesn't really happen. So it's going to be about adding a couple of 100 words here when I'm standing in a queue, or, you know, just after I've dropped my eldest off at school. Once she's back to school, she's been off for 2 weeks for half term. It's been a lot. Lovely to spend the time, but I obviously haven't been writing or getting much else done. And yeah, so those tiny blocks, and then making sure in the evenings I try and dedicate probably an hour is realistically what it's going to be, because, you know, there are going to be days when there's too much else on, I'm too tired. So if I aim for an hour, I can exceed where I can, but that is kind of my prep and what I'm going to do. I need to buy myself a lovely notebook and take some like beautiful doodles and start like writing, just like jotting down little bits about the characters again, because I just find that really helps me get in the zone. And I think I couldn't be more in my protagonist headspace, having just done the ultra, because that is something she would do. And I'm kind of proud of myself for having, you know, seen it through when it was really hard and a struggle. So I'm hoping that's the feeling that all of us are going to get at the end of November, when we have written 50,000 words of our novels, because we can do hard things. It's probably worth mentioning at this point, this will be my, have I said, I must have told you, this will be my first completed novel when I get to the end, and I'm saying it like it's gonna happen to try and like manifest that energy. But I have self-published some children's books. I wrote some stories for my girls and ended up like getting them published into a book for them, and actually like have had other people really interested, and it's been lovely. My first one was called Megara's Magic School, bedtime spell for Dragon Realms, and it's like a picture book and kind of all about imagination and making bedtime good for kids as well, practical help for parents. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. It's worth saying I was very recently diagnosed with ADHD, which makes a lot of sense for a lot of my struggles, a lot of my procrastination, wanting to do things, but side quest. I'm all about the bloody side quests. Lots of crochet side quests lately. That's my latest hyperfixation. If I can get into flow and hyperfocus, it's gonna be great. And if I could channel that this month, that would be incredible. However, typically, you know, it doesn't work that way and I don't get to choose it. So I'll be very distracted. I think, yeah, getting my diagnosis for ADHD, I'm 34 and like it was missed my whole life. I did really well at school and academically and went on to become a magic circle lawyer and various things. And so it doesn't get picked up, I think. It's not considered a problem. I wasn't throwing chairs or being disruptive. But obviously it has its issues and its challenges, and executive function things make like admin a real challenge. And it means that I have 1,000 novel ideas that I want to write, and I keep getting shiny object syndrome and like, oh, I want to write this one, I want to write my dark fantasy, I want to write my dark academia, I want to write this fantasy, I want to write this contemporary one, I want to write more children's books and self-publish those, I want to write this like speculative archaeological thriller and consider whether I want to try trad pub. I probably don't, because I want to do more with fantasy stuff, but like so the brain is going at 1,000 miles an hour. I say all this because I'd love to connect with people who understand that as well and are in a similar boat, because it really meant a lot to me to kind of know that I'm not insane and like doing things wrong, and actually it's just how I'm wired. And sometimes it does feel like a superpower. I know lots of people don't like that term. For me, my experience, it can feel like a superpower, but there's a lot that it makes difficult as well. So yeah, I would really love to hear from you guys what you are working on, what your main kind of like work in progress is, but your main tips for completing NaNoWriMo as well. I have attempted it in the past, like I said, never completed it. I think once I technically did, but that was with some horrendous cheating, like lots of, basically I like to use epigraphs that were like full-length songs, and it was just like, mate, that's not the point. But you know, I was young and foolish, and hopefully that manuscript is burned somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I think Authortube seems really great. I've seen so many people like connect and forge great like writer friendships and community and like support for finishing projects. I know that, you know, so many people who just have like that bug in their bones and have done for their entire lives, and then kind of get that confidence and flame extinguished by like whether it's school or society or just like stress, I don't know. Or, you know, like me, you go study literature and like you love it and it's like a passion project thing, but it then makes you doubt everything that you could ever achieve. I've only just come out of my like literary I think it took having kids to give me some perspective that fun and imagination and genre fiction are fantastic too, and like you don't have to consider it a guilty pleasure. You don't have to put literary fiction on this pedestal. I love literary fiction, don't get me wrong. One of my favorite books up there somewhere is The Waves by Virginia Woolf, and it is stunning, and I feel like it changed like my entire soul. But I bloody loved the Harry Potter series growing up and still love it. Let's not go to the JK Rowling stuff personally, but the books, and like I read and enjoyed what's it called? Fourth Wing. That took me ages. And, you know, fantasy is, I think it's important, whether it's to escape, whether it's to explore the real world and find truths, but through the imagination and magic and different concepts. And I don't think art has to be signed and sealed by some like grand, probably white male keeper of the canon to say this is good literature. If it connects with one person, and yeah, I think that's what it's for. It's there because it's how we make sense of the world and our lives, and how we explore what we think, how we explore what others think, discover new perspectives, how we process emotion and difficult things, how we find hope, how we you know, move through grief or whatever. Like, I think getting a bit like too into it here, but I think like there's a real space for stuff being fun and still like having all those big values. It doesn't have to be like this Booker Prize winning something. Obviously, you know, we all aspire to good writing, whatever that means for our story, and telling it like the best way we can. But I think, yeah, I think getting hung up on that and being painstaking about trying to like reach someone else's standard very much killed my love for it for a while, and I'm glad it is now back and I'm over it. And I kind of think, you know, for Nano, maybe we all just need to be like, what we're doing matters, even if it's silly and frivolous. Like, you could be writing like the craziest, like I've just recently come across what is it, Legends and Lattes, and this whole concept of like cozy fantasy, and I wouldn't have thought it would have been something I'm into, but like actually with life being stressful and being a mum and in a post-COVID world and in this post-truth era in politics with all of the horrendous things happening in the world, like, my God, do we need orcs who want to open up coffee shops? Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway, I am really glad you're all here, and if you actually watched to the end, I feel like you should drop yourselves like an emoji, maybe the book pile, reward yourself with your favorite book, or a coffee, to let me know that you actually survived my ramblings. And yeah, if you want to join me for like cozy writing updates and the occasional crazy thing like an ultramarathon, I suppose, but like we'll be chatting, we'll like motivate each other, that'd be amazing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys are working on this Nano. Let's keep each other going, cross the finish line. And thanks for watching.